Hello everyone, we're live from inside ETFs in Hollywood, Florida for today's edition of The Exchange, brought to you by the New York Stock Exchange. Now, as a reminder, this interview is for informational purposes only. The NYC does not recommend investments or investment strategies. We're live with Anthony Rochte, Global Head of ETFs at Morgan Stanley and a good friend of mine. I gotta ask you, you're talking to a lot of different advisors out there. What are they saying?
Yeah, so we listen closely to advisors, RIAs, institutional clients, and we heard loud and clear they want ETFs. I know you're biased, but it's good news. They want to complement the exposure alongside alternatives, SMAs, and certainly mutual funds. So we're building a multi-asset class, multi-brand, multi-jurisdiction platform. We launched here in the US on the New York Stock Exchange, and we have plans to launch more in the future.
So when you look at the headlines right now, when the team at Morgan Stanley Investment Management looks out there, do they see opportunities?
Yeah, so what we hear clearly from the client base, two things. Number one, they want active ETFs. I believe the next 5 years will look very different than the last 20 years in ETFs. And when you look at the leading players right now, many active players are coming to market. So at Morgan Stanley, we're excited with brands like Parametric, Eaton Vance, certainly Calvert, a pioneer in the ESG space. The second thing we hear loud and clear is fixed income, and active fixed income. It's only 15% of a $7 trillion US market, but as you know, it's growing fast. So fixed income and active.
Yeah, and if you haven't caught it, by the way, year to date, cash flows in active ETFs over a third of all cash flow, breaking records. You can catch some of this data on our fortnightly report. Just go to homeofetfs.com. You can sign up for it. It's free. You'll see everything going on in the active ETF marketplace. Tony, you guys are Morgan Stanley Investment Management, known all around the world for investing, and now here you are back in ETFs. When you look at that initial lineup, do you have a favorite ETF that you've launched?
So we launched 6 on February 1st on the New York Stock Exchange. Large cap, mid cap, international, a thematic diversity, equity, and inclusion, and 2 actives, ultra short bond and the active transparent equity. But I think CVLC, it's over 150 million. We just launched. It's trading over 40,000 shares a day. So CVLC, Calvert large cap, is trading out of the gates. And CVSB, the ultra short bond, yielding today over 6%, is seeing really good interest from RIAs, institutional clients, and certainly advisors.
And of course, all wrapped in an ETF listed on the New York Stock Exchange. Now, as a reminder, if you want to learn more about the Morgan Stanley lineup, you can go to etfcentral.com, that search bar. You don't even have to remember the ticker symbols. Just type in Morgan Stanley. You'll see the entire list of ETFs listed all here in the US, and brought to you by none other than the New York Stock Exchange, the home of ETFs.